How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the second episode of $0 to $1,000 a month sneaker reselling. In today's episode, we're going to be going over how to cop more sneakers manually, setting up virtual cards, slang words, and much more. If you guys have been enjoying this series, definitely be sure to leave a like down below and leave a comment also. Let me know what you guys are enjoying about this series and what you guys would like to see next. And as always, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We just hit 5.1 thousand subscribers, which is pretty mind-blowing, guys. We have a lot more to come. I am putting together a 5,000 subscriber giveaway, so be sure to look out for that. If you guys have not seen episode 1, I would highly suggest going back and watching it. We go over some crucial information you guys will need to get started sneaker reselling. We pretty much go over everything you guys need to get started and how to do so. Without any further ado, guys, let's just hop right into episode 2. So the first thing we're going to be going over, and I realized I probably should have went over this in the first episode, is some slang words you are going to hear in the sneaker community. Now, these aren't super important to know, but it definitely does make things easier if you can understand what they mean. So the first word we have is brick. Pretty much all this means is the shoe is not going to be very profitable, therefore you don't want to go for it in terms of resale. So if you ever hear me say like the shoe is a brick, that means it's not going to have very much resale value. So the next word we have is beater. This is not a super important word to know if you are going to be reselling, but pretty much all the beater is just a shoe that you wear every day. It's just something you can beat up and you don't really care if it gets dirty or not. The next word we have is GR, which basically means it's a general release. And most of the time, if it is a GR, there's probably not going to be very much resale value. Now guys, that's not all the time. Please do keep that in mind. It can have resale value if it is a GR, but most of the time it's probably not going to. The next word we have is DS, or dead stock, which basically means the shoe is new in box, it hasn't been opened, it hasn't been tried on, it's just DS. The next word we have is friends and family. Now basically what this means is the shoe has not been released to the public yet. So like we saw a couple months ago, we had this Kith Converse friends and family pair, which the shoe originally was a friends and family shoe back in 2016, and they just did the public release for it, therefore it's not a friends and family shoe anymore. Last but not least, we have the word grail. All a grail is just a shoe that you always wanted. It's just a shoe that you've been wanting for a really long time, like it's your grail shoe. Pretty much all the grail is like your favorite shoe that you've always wanted. Now that's just the very intro into sneaker slang. If you guys would like to see a full video on that, definitely leave a comment down in the comment section below. So for the sake of this video, guys, we're just gonna assume this is a couple weeks down the road. You've been reselling for like 3 or 4 weeks, you kind of know what's going on. You've copped a couple shoes, you've flipped a couple, and you've made some profit. Please do keep in mind, sometimes there are going to be dry months, so you can't really like count on getting a shoe every single week. And if you are starting out, it's going to be a lot harder to actually get the shoe, so just know that, guys. Please have patience. A lot of people like get into the game expecting to cop a shoe every single time, and then they don't cop and they just leave. Which, if you're looking for a career in the sneaker game, you can't really do that. You just have to be persistent and have a lot of patience. So last episode I talked about how to cop sneakers manually. In this episode I'm going to go a little more in depth on that and talk about how you can get more than one sneaker whenever you're going manual. So the very first thing you guys are going to need to do whenever you want to cop more than one sneaker is you're going to need multiple credit cards. Instead of going out and opening up a bunch of lines of credit, we actually do have a couple websites you can utilize to make virtual credit cards. Personally, I'm going to be going over my 2 favorites. There are more out there and there are kind of region based, so I definitely do some research and see like what's going to work best for you and what country you live in. Since I do live in the US, I'm going to be going over token and privacy. I think as of right now they're only available in the US, but like I said, guys, do a little bit of research and see what works best for you. So my personal favorite virtual credit card company to use is Privacy. They've been around for a while. I've been using them for over a year now and haven't had much trouble with them. They allow you to make virtual credit cards instantly, which is really nice, and you can set them up with limits on them so you can't overspend. You can also set them up so they're a burner card, so like once they have one checkout, they're not going to work anymore, which is pretty nice if you're running slots or something like that. Now Privacy works really well for Shopify sites and Nike sneakers. It does work on Adidas sometimes. Personally, I don't really like to use it on there, and unfortunately it does not work for Supreme. Now if you currently have Privacy and it works for Supreme, they had like a little special going last season that you could like spend over $1,000 and they gave it to you, but unfortunately they don't have that feature as of right now. Then the next company we have is Token. Personally, I've only been using them for a couple of months. Really, I just have Token for Adidas. I feel like it works the best on there and I haven't had any troubles with it. And since I use Privacy for Shopify, I haven't tried Token on Shopify yet, so I'm not too sure about that. I imagine it works pretty well, but you can test it out for yourself. Now that you have your virtual credit cards, let's move on to how to jig your address. I have a whole video going over this, guys. I'll link that down in the description below. I would highly suggest you take a look at it. It pretty much goes over everything you need to get multiple shoes shipped to your house. If you don't follow the steps in that video, unfortunately most sites are going to cancel your orders because they only allow one per customer. So you do have to be careful with what credit cards you are using and what you put in as your address. So now that you guys have your credit card set up, you know how to jig your address, you know how to get multiple pairs to your house. Let's talk about how to actually do that. So I am going to be showing you guys how I cook on Easy Supply. Now I'm not too sure if this method works on other sites, but most of the time Shopify sites sell out pretty quickly, so really this only works for an Easy Supply. So let's hop on my computer right now and I'll show you guys what to do. As you can see now, guys, we're on my computer and we are on the Easy Supply website. So pretty much what this bypass does is, as you can see here, we have a sold out white bone. So I'm just going to be using one of these desert salt boots for an example. So let's say you were sitting in queue and then the item you had in your cart sold out. What you guys are going to want to do is go back on the home page, add a different size that is in stock to your cart. As you can see, it's in my cart right now. Now you probably are going to see the other size in your cart also. You're going to want to remove that size that is out of stock and then come back to your checkout page, remove this /stock problems and hit enter. Now for me, it's going to be a little bit different because they don't actually have any sizes loaded. So it's still going to give me the same error. Now once you guys do take out the /stock problems and you do hit enter, you see the new size in your cart. Now if you don't see the new size in your cart, just refresh the page and you'll see it there. This is actually the method I used on Yeezy Day and I had a lot of success with it. And another thing is, guys, once you actually check out one on that browser, you are going to want to open up a new person or just go into incognito just so your cookies aren't the same so you can check out more pairs. Let's move on to how to cop more on Nike sneakers. Now Nike sneakers is a pretty tough monster. They've been changing up a lot of stuff as of right now, so bots don't really work. And they actually have closed off the browser for Nike sneakers right now, so you can't get any entries in if you're going through the browser. Pretty much the only thing you can do is just to get as many phones as you can. Personally, I have about 4 to 5 phones that I run every drop that allow me to get more than one entry in. So what you guys have to do for the most part is just hit up your family members, your friends, your uncles, I don't know, anybody that has an iPhone pretty much that you trust. And what I do is I just make an account for them and I verify the phone number with their phone number, and then I go to privacy, make a card for them, and I set the limit to $1. Then usually if I'm like around them for the actual drop, I'll up the limit for the privacy card and then I'll just enter myself on their phone. Now if I'm actually not around them, I'll just like call them or FaceTime them, letting them know like you need to enter the drop at this time. Then obviously if they hit the shoe, I'll give them like 10 or 20 bucks depending on like how good the resale value actually is. But guys, I would highly suggest putting the $1 limit on privacy before the actual drop and then upping it whenever there's an actual release. Just so there's not like any mistakes happening, like they don't buy the wrong shoe or something. It's pretty much just a level of insurance and I would just highly suggest doing it. That's pretty much the only thing you can do on Nike sneakers. Now I have heard some rumors that you can only have 3 accounts per IP address. So if you are running on a phone that has LTE, I would just turn off the Wi-Fi, enter the draw, and then you can just turn the Wi-Fi back on. Now guys, I'm not for sure if that's confirmed, but that's what I usually do. Now I know last video I went over foot site apps and how to use them. Now one thing I do want to talk about a little more in depth is actually how the head starts work. So I talked about how you guys can get like 6-minute, 10-minute head starts and all that stuff, but I want to break down like how you exactly do that. So when you first download the app and open up an account, you'll start out with a 6-minute head start. Now pretty much the 6 minutes doesn't actually mean anything. All the minutes are just give you like better chances to actually get the shoe. Now it's not 100% confirmed about actually how the 10-minute head starts work, but obviously the more minutes you have, the better chance you have of getting the shoe. Personally, I haven't hit unless I've had the 10-minute head start, so I would definitely suggest getting the 10 minutes if you can. But like I said, you start out with the 6 minutes and then you obtain the 3-minute head start by spending like over a certain amount on the app. I'm not too sure about the exact amount on every app. I know for Foot Action it's $225. I believe it's $325 for Foot Locker, and I'm not too sure about Champs and Eastbay. Then obviously you get the 1-minute head start by like signing in. You can go watch the last video about how to get the 1-minute head start. I know guys, it might seem kind of crazy having to spend like $225 just to get these 3-minute head start, but it can pay off really quickly. Let's say you copped a Jordan 1 Obsidian like size 8 from the 10-minute head start, you're making over $200 profit, so it pretty much pays itself back. Now pretty much for the most part what I do is cop Yeezys and like Jordan 1s off footlocker.com. I just sign into my account and obviously that credits my account, so that gives me the VIP status, just so I don't have to go out and spend like $300 on miscellaneous shoes. Now another option you guys have is actually getting the shoes locally. Now, as you guys know, these local foot stores do local raffles, and you guys are probably wondering what happens to the shoes that don't get picked up. Now depending on the store, most of the time it is going to be a first come first serve. Now most of the stores are going to let you pick up the leftovers at 3 p.m. There's no time zone conversion for that. It's just going to be 3 p.m. your local time. Now, I would suggest calling beforehand and making sure that's confirmed, but most of the time it is going to be 3. And what you guys can do is just show up to your store, ask the manager, ask somebody like what time they're going to be releasing leftovers, and then see if people are already there. Hopefully there aren't any people in front of you. I would suggest getting there like 30 minutes to an hour before if you do want to get the shoes. And I might even suggest bringing like 3 to 4 people just to get as many shoes as possible, just because they're only going to allow you to get 1 per person. And most of the time what I do is get there like 30 to 45 minutes early, bring a couple friends, we just wait till 3 o'clock and then we just pick up all the leftovers. And depending on how hype the drop is, most of the time each store is going to have like 2 to 3 pairs left over. I mean, if it is a GR or like a pretty unhyped release, you could get like 5 to 7 pairs. But from my past experience, every store has had like 3 to 4 pairs. And another thing is, guys, if you call a store and they tell you they're not going to have any leftovers, that's pretty much bullshit. Like, it's literally like mathematically impossible that every single person that got a shoe is going to be able to pick it up. So they should at least have at the very least 1 shoe there. I mean, depending on how they work, I mean, they could be kind of shady and backdoor them. Most of the time you are going to be able to get a pair if you're there like 30 minutes to an hour early. Now the next thing I want to go over, guys, is slots. Slots can be very beneficial for your new users and the people that don't have bots. Pretty much all a slot is someone's going to take down your credit card information, your address, and all that good stuff, and just put it into their bot, and hopefully that task with your information hits. And if it does, it's going to charge your credit card and ship straight to your house. Then you just pay the person running a bot a small fee. Now guys, I can't stress this enough. You have to be very, very, very careful with the person that's providing your slots. Like, you're giving them all your information, you're giving them your credit cards, which I would not recommend giving them your actual credit card. I would make a virtual credit card to give them, just so you can delete it after your slot's finished. So only go through reputable providers. I'm not going to say any as of right now just because I don't have a slot provider that I go to normally, but you can check Twitter, I mean, maybe Google it, but just be very, very careful with slot providers just so they can't steal your information. Guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode of $0 to $1,000 a month sneaker reselling. If you guys did enjoy this episode or I helped you guys out in any way, please be sure to hit that like button down below and hit that subscribe button for more content, and definitely check out some other videos. In the next episode, we're going to be going over how to get into Palace, how to get into Supreme, and how to start botting. If you guys are excited for that, definitely be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, if you have any questions or concerns, leave a comment also. Be sure to follow my Twitter and my Instagram link down in the description below. And if you guys are looking to join a reselling group, I'll link Unlimited Cook, which is my sneaker group, down in the description. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. I'm Unlimited Cop, and I'm out.
Yeah, I run my city without running shoes. You ain't gotta wonder who. All these rappers sound the same. Damn, there is a ton of you. I just smirked the competition, did it right in front of you. Before I even learned to count, I kept it 100 too. I be on my Kendrick shit, really about to humble you. Never ever drop the ball, no, I never fumbled.